So at a time when you often assume that hate has become the new normal, comes a person called the Pamphlet Man. 71 years young to spread the message of peace. He's a former IIT professor and he has a quest for peace. Videos of his peace messages have gone viral on the internet where he's battling hate on the streets of Delhi, trying to inspire a country to shape the right discourse. The Pamphlet Man, Professor VK Tripathi, is with me in the studio. Thank you very much, Professor Tripathi.
Thank you, so kind of you.
What a journey this has been. At 71, whatever gave you the idea to pick up your bag and start distributing these pamphlets? I believe that these are some of the pamphlets that you distribute on the streets of Delhi?
I did that.
Yeah, so, I mean, what message is there in the pamphlets?
Well, there are two. Number one, that if there is a problem or there is a move by the government about a particular segment of society or a region or a state, then the major concern of the state, of the government, should be the response of the people of that region. And the onlookers, the people of the rest of the country, they may also have their views on this, but the major concern should be the response of the people. And I noted that the people in the rest of the country were rejoicing the government moves, which may have their own merit. But the people of Kashmir, they were in some sort of a uneasy situation. And I felt that the government, maybe they have to take resort to these kind of things, maybe for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that you have to shut down communication, you have to confine people in their homes for a while, which is all right, I understand that. But their attitude of the countrymen in the rest of the country for their own brethren in Kashmir or Jammu should be that of compassion and understanding, rather than reacting that as if we have won the war. I think this kind of gap between the responses of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir people and the rest of the country is frightening. I think it's jolting the unity of the nation, and I feel concerned. So this is one issue. Second issue was that I wanted people of the country to be sensitive, because there has been army in Kashmir for 3 decades, and I'm also aware that about 200,000 Kashmiri Pandits had to move out because of the situation in Kashmir. But also along with them, a very large number of Kashmiri Muslims had to move out because of the disturbances there. So both have suffered. The Kashmiri Pandits have suffered and Kashmiri Muslims have suffered. But you cannot take a sectarian view of the situation. It started in 1989 as militancy and supported by maybe from outside, which was there. But I think over the years things have changed. And we should have, especially during 2002 and 2014, when the situation appeared going towards normal, there was substantial decline in militancy. I thought that there will be a reduction of armed forces over there. And even if you could not accomplish that then, you should do it now. So I wanted my countrymen to awaken to this need of the Kashmiri masses, that they also want to live away from the shadow of the gun, whether the gun of the terrorist or gun of the army.
Okay. So this was part of your pamphlet.
Yes.
You wanted to educate or convince people that this is the way they should be thinking. They should have a sense of compassion for the people of Kashmir.
Absolutely.
Generally have a sense of compassion for people, right?
Yes.
Why did you feel this need? Why did you feel that outside of Kashmir, in Delhi or on the streets of Delhi, you needed to do what you did?
Well, as soon as Parliament passed the bill on Kashmir on August 5, there was jubilation all around. For a few days I understood that maybe it's a temporary reaction. People are feeling happy that something they have been taught that 370 is a bad thing and it's keeping people of Kashmir away from us. So I thought it's all right, maybe after a week or 2 weeks things will cool down. But when it continued and it was reflected in people's aggressive responses in terms of some sort of abuses against the people, as they are blaming the entire population of Kashmir for the follies of few terrorists, I felt very sad. I visited Kashmir 2 years ago. I gave 10 lectures in physics in Islamic University of Science and Technology in Avantipura, which is very close to Pulwama. After giving my 10 talks in physics, I gave one talk on science and freedom. I did not touch the question of Kashmir. But I told those people what freedom is. Freedom from prejudice, freedom from exploitation, freedom from hatred, and so on. So I explained this, and then how in last 300 years science has been an instrument of imperialism as well as instrument of liberation. And the response was overwhelming. Somebody then asked a question that, and a professor in Sher-e-Kashmir University asked me, we are so overwhelmed by your speech, but is it possible for a person like me, to go to Delhi and hear my views in a frank and free atmosphere there? And I felt speechless. What could I tell him? That if you come to Delhi and I want you to speak on Kashmir problems, I think we need to understand each other. Kashmiris are our own people. And I have been feeling very sad at this gap of understanding between Kashmiri people and the rest of the country. So to me, political power is very superfluous. It's important, but of secondary importance.
Okay. Tell me something, Professor Tripathi. How long have you been doing this distribution of pamphlets on this issue? About a week or 10 days?
No. For nearly 2 months.
For 2 months, you've been distributing these pamphlets. Now, I want to know from you, what sort of a response have you got from the people? Because I think what you have set out to do is a very arduous task, trying to convince people. First of all, I want to know from you, what were your experiments with people? Were they, first of all, did they understand the problem? Were they rejoicing? Did they know why they are rejoicing? And last but not the least, when you tried to convince them, what was their response?
Well, the day one, when I started the campaigning, I started from IIT Delhi. And in IIT...
You're a professor there, IIT
I was
Delhi.
teaching, so many students knew me. And when I gave the flyers, I must have distributed about 100 flyers. And then I was walking towards JNU. I received a telephone call from a student. You are distributing this flyer? My name was written there. He did not know that I was a teacher in IIT. Why are you distributing these flyers? I could explain to him, and he was a bit satisfied, though his views were different than mine, which is acceptable to me. Then I went to JNU. I met some RSS-minded people also, but they were not abusive. They had their own viewpoint, so I felt comfortable talking to them. Then I talked to other students who had left leanings or who were, in between. Their response was heartening because they wanted to learn.
Was heartening?
Very heartening to me. Even RSS.
Not disheartening?
No, not disheartening. It's very heartening. Even talking to RSS students was heartening to me because they expressed their desire to understand the Kashmir problem. And the way I articulated my position on Kashmir, I think I felt, by the response, I felt very comfortable. Then next day I went to Delhi University. I distributed nearly 1,000 flyers there in the whole day. I met some people who appreciated government position, which is all right. But I also met maybe twice as many people, or maybe 3 times, who appreciated my position on Kashmir. So my response, in 3-4 days, I realized that there is a receptivity for these kind of ideas. I felt a little encouraged. Then I started distributing flyers in South Delhi, and like Malvi Nagar and Saket area. Their response was very different. An old man came. What is this disquiet in Kashmir? People are very happy. Well, I will explain to my position to him, but they were aggressive. Not abusive, but aggressive. Then I went to this Arvindo College in South Delhi. Their response was different. Students were receptive. So I noted that the elderly people, they have some sort of prejudice in their minds, and they want to read things from that perspective.
But not the younger lot.
Younger lot also. On the streets, I met some younger people who were aggressive. They were not very educated, maybe.
When was that when you got into an altercation with someone? At some point it got abusive also, I guess.
Oh, that happened just a day before Muharram. I think it was 9th or 10th of September. 9th of September. It's just very close to Mulchand Hospital. I started from IIT at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was distributing flyers and talking to people. By 1 o'clock I reached Mulchand area. And suddenly somebody came, stopped the car, get out of the car, give me flyer. And he took away flyer from my hand. I had 150 flyers. Whose flyers are you distributing?
You didn't know who this person was?
No, I did not know. तो हमने कहा हमारे फ्लायर हैं. बोले पाकिस्तानी गद्दार, अगर तू बूढ़ा नहीं होता तो बहुत मारता तुझे मैं. क्यों बांट रहा है ये? And he was quite abusive, not only to me but to Kashmiri people also. I understood that it happens. If you don't like somebody's views, then you become aggressive. So I said, please cool down a little bit. We want to save this nation. Kashmiri people are our people. So if we understand their agony and their problems, we will be bringing country's unity. We will be strengthening the unity of the nation. I tried to argue on these lines, but he was not listening. He was continuing, using abusive words. In the meantime, 3 policemen arrived on their motorbikes. One had a flyer in his hand and said that, भैया एक आदमी हमसे भी कह रहा था कि एक बूढ़ा आदमी पर्चे बांट रहा है, बच्चों में बांट रहा है. I told no, I'm not giving it to students, to children. I want to give you people like you. Please read this. This is to strengthen the unity of the nation. If you become sensitive, you will make the country stronger. And the time is gone when the country can be made stronger through guns and bombs. 1971 war was the last war. That was decisive. All wars in the world after that have been non-decisive. So please don't rely on guns for the country's security or for country's unity. We have to touch the hearts of the people. Open your mind to listen to others, and open your heart so that others can also see through you. This is what my position was. Then there was some argument when this man said, the carman, that इसको थाने ले जाओ, FIR लिखो इसके खिलाफ. Then he said in his car, मैंने कहा कि भैया तू जा रहा है तो हमारा 5 मिनट तुमने बोल लिया. Listen to me for a minute.
Oh really?
मैंने कहा कि
did he hear you?
नहीं सुना उसने. Then he left.
Okay.
So this is the kind of situation.
Tell me something. Do you ever fear? Do you ever feel threatened? Fear? Perhaps the risk of being beaten up?
I never felt
being
that
abused.
I never felt that kind of risk for myself. But this time, this is the only time I've been distributing flyers on different issues since last 30 years. But this was the only time, this time, I could not encourage my younger friends, like IIT students, because I could see that the reaction could be very violent. I am old and little articulate, so people will not hurt me. I was pretty sure of it. But I could not tell the girls, I could not tell my younger friends, and particularly the Muslim friends.
And you used to do this earlier?
Oh, 30 years I've been doing it. Even during 1992, when there was curfew in Delhi, there was violence in Welcome Colony. And next day I was distributing flyers in curfew-bound Ajmeri Gate area. 6 girls from Delhi University joined me. And there was a girl, a Muslim girl, Rubina Khan. And I could tell her and Anuradha Tripathi to go into a lane.
Why can't you tell her now?
Now people are so reactive and assertive and aggressive. This kind of aggression I had not seen then. And they were distributing flyers and doing door-to-door campaign in Hindu areas. This Muslim girl could go there. So even at that time, so there was a lot of communal passions aroused, but still people were not, but they would listen to you.
Okay.
They were not that abusive.
Okay, final question. How far do you want to take this?
Well, I have been doing it on many issues, and Kashmir issue I want to take further, especially when Parliament opens, session starts.
Give it to some MPs as well.
I would like to give to them and encourage them to take positions. I think in the last Parliament, the positions taken by members of Parliament left a lot to be desired. And I think they are representing the nation. All segments of society, including the ruling party also, has to represent all segments of society. So I want to talk to them. And I would like to campaign among them. So that is my next.
Well, at least I'm happy that you say that the response that you got, particularly from the young lot, was heartening.
It was.
So that's a good word to use. Professor Tripathi, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.
So kind of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.